Can you hear it? The quiet creak of doors closing at stores that once lit up entire American street corners. No announcement, no goodbye. Just one morning you swing by your go-to supermarket and there's a stark white sign on the glass, permanently closed. And the scariest part, you had no idea. Until it was too late. With wallets squeezed tight, inflation lurking and shopping habits flipping overnight, familiar names are vanishing from the map one by one. No amount of loyalty can save them. No low price can keep customers tethered. So before another beloved store slips away, join us as we uncover the 10 biggest US retail chains that could disappear as early as next month. Which name will shock you the most? And what's really driving the entire retail industry to the edge of collapse? Number 1. Joanne Fabrics. For countless Americans, Joanne isn't just a fabric store, it's where handmade wedding dresses were born, where heirloom quilts were stitched, and where crafts for grandkids came to life. For 82 years, Joanne has been a cornerstone for working-class seamstresses, homemakers, and hobbyists alike. But in January 2025, Joanne filed for bankruptcy a second time in just 1 year, and by February, the company announced it would shutter all 800 of its remaining stores across 49 states. This isn't just the end of a retail chain, it's the curtain call for a creative community that thrived for decades. The collapse stems from a brutal mix, slumping sales-fierce competition from rivals like Michaels and Hobby Lobby, and a shift in consumer habits toward online shopping. Despite efforts to slash debt and restructure, Joanne couldn't secure new investors and was forced to liquidate its assets. The fallout goes beyond the 19,000 employees left jobless. It's a gut punch to a nationwide community of crafters. Many say Joanne was where they discovered passion, found relaxation, and bonded with kindred spirits. Its disappearance means losing a creative haven, a place for learning and inspiration. In its final weeks, Joanne rolled out clearance sales with up to 80% off to clear inventory, but no discount could soften the blow for loyal customers. Many flocked to stores not just to shop, but to say goodbye to a piece of their memories. Joanne's exit is a stark reminder that even the most enduring icons can't survive without adapting to the times. It's also a wake-up call for American retail. When we lose places like Joanne, we don't just lose a store. We lose a piece of our soul. Number 2. Macys. If there's one place that ever made you feel like you truly belonged in America, it might be Macys. Not because it was cheap, but because of the vibe stepping into a slice of elegance, even if you only had a few bucks in your pocket. The store where you bought your daughter's first prom dress, where you picked out a wedding tie, or just paused to marvel at those dazzling Christmas window displays. Macys was the middle-class dream wrapped up in every aisle. But that dream is quietly closing shop, literally. In early 2025, Macys announced it would shutter another 150 underperforming stores after already shrinking to about 500 locations nationwide. On the chopping block are even decades-old staples, stores that were once the heartbeat of malls now turning into empty voids. Why it's not because Macys played dirty, it's because they're out of step with the times. The rise of e-commerce has Gen Z dodging brick-and-mortar stores. Flashy newcomers like Shine, Amazon, and even Target have snatched loyal customers with dirt-cheap prices. Lightning-fast delivery and savvy marketing. Macys clung to its old-school playbook. Big stores, big costs, and a dated belief that customers would come back for the experience. Spoiler, they didn't. Macys sales in Q1 2025 tanked nearly 7% compared to the previous year. Stock prices plummeted. Leadership had no choice but to make the call scale back to survive. But survival doesn't mean painless. Every Macys that vanishes means hundreds of jobs lost. A mall loses its draw. A small community loses its go-to shopping spot, a place where every walk of life could stroll in without feeling out of place. You might never have shopped at Macys, but you've probably passed one by, and if that name fades from view, a piece of the normal America picture fades too. Because Macys isn't just a store, it's a feeling, a symbol melting away quietly but profoundly. Number 3. Rite Aid. There are places you never imagined could vanish until they're gone. Rite Aid, with over 60 years of serving communities, was a trusted haven for millions of Americans needing prescriptions. Vitamins are just a quick word of advice from a familiar pharmacist. But in May 2025, Rite Aid filed for bankruptcy a second time in just 2 years, announcing it would close or sell all for 240 remaining stores across 15 states. In New York alone, all 178 locations will shutter by June, leaving thousands of employees jobless. The collapse comes from a perfect storm, plummeting sales cutthroat competition from giants like CVS and Walgreens, and a shift to online shopping. On top of that, Rite Aid is drowning in nearly $4 billion in debt, fueled by thousands of lawsuits tied to its role in the opioid crisis. The impact goes far beyond the thousands of lost jobs. It's a devastating blow to rural and low-income communities where Rite Aid was often the only pharmacy for miles. Losing a local drugstore means residents must travel farther for medications, racking up time and costs, or worse, risking their health if they can't access care in time. In its final weeks, Rite Aid launched clearance sales to unload inventory, but no discount could ease the sting for loyal customers. Many visited not just to shop, but to bid farewell to a piece of their past. Rite Aid's exit is a stark reminder that even the most enduring icons can't survive without adapting to the times. It's a wake-up call for American retail when we lose places like Rite Aid. We don't just lose a store, we lose a piece of our soul. Number 4, GameStop. Nobody says I grew up in GameStop, but for countless Americans, it's where they came of age. Not a noisy supermarket, not a sterile e-commerce site, but a cozy shop smelling of freshly unwrapped plastic with game music humming softly and kids pressing their faces against glass cases, eyes wide for PS4, Xbox, or Nintendo treasures. GameStop didn't just sell games. It sold feelings. It was where you traded in an old disc for a few bucks off a hot new title, where you debated with the clerk whether Elden Ring trumped God of War, where even kids from broke families felt like they'd stepped into paradise. Now that paradise is running out of lives. In 2025 alone, GameStop shuttered over 400 stores nationwide, the highest in its history per its latest financial reports. Familiar spots in small malls and suburban strip centers where gamers flocked after school or work are now just dusty windows plastered with for-lease signs. Why? Because the world doesn't buy games like it used to. Digital downloads account for over 90% of US gaming revenue per NPD Group. Data: a few clicks and your game's ready. No lines, no boxes, no GameStop. They tried to pivot live streaming sales, pushing accessories, stocking Funko Pops, but it was too late. GameStop couldn't outrun the tidal wave of the digital world. And here's the real gut punch. The fans who saved GameStop during the wild 2021 stock market frenzy can't save it or themselves now crushed by inflation, joblessness, and a long list of priorities that don't include pricey games. GameStop isn't dying from a lack of customers. It's dying because nostalgia can't pay the rent. And if you ever stood there before that glass case clutching a game box, eyes sparkling as you waited for your dad's nod, GameStop's death isn't just the end of a retail chain. It's goodbye to a slice of youth you can't download again. Number 5, C Penney. Some places were the heartbeat of a community where you bumped into neighbors, tried on a new outfit for the holidays, or just strolled through aisles glowing with warm light. C Penney, with over a century of history, was that kind of icon. But in 2025, C Penney is continuing its slow fade closing. Another 8 stores nationwide, including locations in Maryland, New Hampshire, West Virginia, Kansas, Colorado, California, Idaho, and North Carolina. This is part of a restructuring effort after merging with Spark Group to form Catalyst Brands in January 2025. These closures aren't just economic events, they're social and emotional losses. At the Charleston Town Center in West Virginia, C Penney was the last department store standing, and its shutdown marks the end of an era for a once bustling mall, plummeting revenue from $14 billion a decade ago to just $7 billion in 2024, mirrors shifting consumer habits and brutal competition from e-commerce. Despite attempts to reinvent itself and partner with other brands, C Penney is struggling to keep its physical stores alive. For countless Americans, C Penney wasn't just a store, it was a memory bank. The first dress you bought, the suit for that make-or-break job interview, the holiday gifts that lit up someone's face. Losing these stores means losing a piece of memory, a piece of community. As the retail landscape keeps morphing, the question looms, can we hold on to these values and memories in a world that's racing toward digital? Number 6, Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree isn't the place where you flaunt designer brands. It's where you survive an 89-cent can of beans, the cheapest dish soap on the market, a pack of instant noodles for the last dinner of the month, for millions of Americans, especially those surviving on minimum wage or government assistance. Dollar Tree isn't just a store, it's a lifeline when your world is falling apart. And now that lifeline is fraying one thread at a time. At the start of 2025, Dollar Tree announced plans to close nearly 1,000 stores, around 600 Family Dollar locations, and over 300 underperforming Dollar Tree outlets. According to financial reports, the chain suffered a net loss of over $1.7 billion in 2024, driven by rising operational costs, natural disaster damages at distribution centers, and shifting consumer behavior. But for the people who rely on it, those numbers are just the tip of the iceberg. What they see is this: the only store in their neighborhood selling affordable baby diapers, gone. The one place they used to buy cold medicine for under $2, empty shelves. And the comfort of walking into a store knowing they could feed their family for a week with just $20, that's now a memory. People used to mock Dollar Tree as cheap junk. But anyone who has ever faced the end of the month with an EBT card running low and just a few crumpled bills left in their wallet knows the true value of every single item there. When you live in a rural area where Walmart is a 45-minute drive away, but Family Dollar is right down the street, a sign saying this store is permanently closing isn't just news. It's a blow to your meals, your budget, your everyday life. Perhaps the scariest part is this: Dollar Tree once stood for the hope that you may be poor, but you still have the right to buy. But if even that place can't survive, then where will poor Americans turn next? Number 7. Liberated Brands. Liberated Brands, a name that might sound unfamiliar to many, but for young people who love surf and street style, it's a symbol of freedom of endless summers, with Quiksilver, Billabong, Volcom, and Roxy. Yet today, Liberated Brands has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and announced the closure of all 122 of its retail stores across the United States, including those carrying iconic brands like Quiksilver, Billabong, Volcom, and Roxy. The underlying cause isn't just fierce competition from fast fashion giants like Shein and Temu. It's also a shift in consumer behavior where shoppers prefer online purchases, prioritizing low prices and fast shipping. Back in 2022, Liberated Brands generated $422 million in revenue, but by 2024, its earnings before interest and taxes had plunged to negative $12.5 million. The company was also burdened with $226 million in debt and lost distribution rights for major brands because it couldn't pay licensing fees. Closing these stores isn't just an economic event, it's a cultural and emotional loss. These shops were once familiar hangouts for young people, places where they discovered a free-spirited lifestyle. Now they are just memories. The collapse of Liberated Brands is a stark reminder that in today's business world, failing to adapt to trends and technology can have severe consequences. It also raises a bigger question. Are we losing our cultural values and unique lifestyles in the relentless pursuit of convenience and low prices? Number 8. Dennys. There's a type of restaurant you don't go to for the trendiness or for a special dish. You go because the lights are always on. It's always open. There's always a hot cup of coffee, a corner table for 3 old friends, or a late-night meal for a night shift worker at 3 a.m. That's Dennys not fancy, but so familiar that you almost forget it exists, until it doesn't. In 2025, Dennys is quietly shrinking. In less than 12 months, over 178 locations have shut down, mostly in middle-income neighborhoods, places that once relied on affordable 24/7 dining. And according to insider sources, the closures might not stop there. But the problem isn't just about sales. Dennys represents a way of life: late-night dinners after work, catching up with friends after a local concert, or simply sitting alone with a plate of pancakes, and no one rushing you out. Yet that way of life is fading. Gen Z prefers ordering food through apps rather than going out. Those who used to visit Dennys every Saturday morning are now worried about gas prices, electric bills, and mortgage rates. A $12 breakfast combo no longer feels cheap when you're counting every dollar on your monthly expenses. Even Dennys itself is struggling. They've launched promotional menus, buy one get one deals, and expanded into digital ordering. But none of it has worked well. Every attempt to keep loyal customers now feels like trying to hold on to an old habit in a world that's moved on. And saddest of all, the Dennys in small towns, where it was once a rare beacon of light in America's sparse night, are the first to shut down. No more warm yellow lights. No more gentle clinking of plates at midnight. No more place to escape to in the middle of a life that's moving too fast. When Dennys disappears, America doesn't just lose a restaurant, it loses a place that once made you feel that no matter how late it was, someone would always be there waiting for you. Number 9. Kohls. There are places that don't need flashy signs or massive ad campaigns, yet they remain a constant part of American life. Almost like a fixture, Kohls is one of them. With over 150 stores, nationwide, Kohls was once a familiar destination for families seeking a balance between quality and affordability. From a little girl's pajama set to a dress shirt for a first job interview, Kohls has been there for millions of Americans through every stage of life. But 2025 marks a sad turning point for this retail chain. Kohls has announced plans to close 27 underperforming stores across 15 states, including California, Texas, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, by April 2025. This move is part of a broader restructuring strategy aimed at ensuring sustainable growth in the future. The underlying cause lies in shifting consumer behavior and mounting competition from e-commerce. Kohls reported a 72% drop in sales for fiscal year 2024, down to $15.4 billion. Net profit also took a sharp hit, falling to just $48 million compared to $186 million the previous year. These closures aren't just statistics. They're an emotional and communal loss. In many small towns, Kohls wasn't just a shopping spot. It was a place to meet, to build memories. Its absence leaves a void that's hard to fill in the hearts of residents. As the retail landscape continues to evolve, the question remains, can we preserve traditional values and emotional connections when everything is gradually shifting to the digital world? Number 10. Party City. No one grows up in America without stepping foot inside a party city. That's where you find Elsa-shaped balloons, birthday hats with your kid's age, and those hilarious Halloween costumes your husband once tried on. Party City is the store of laughter. Of those moments when there's a reason to be happy, not everyone throws lavish parties. But just by stopping at a Party City, grabbing some tinsel, a few colorful paper cups, you feel like you've done enough to make someone smile. And now that smile is fading. After filing for bankruptcy in 2023, Party City entered 2025 with a long list of closures, over 700 stores being liquidated or sold off. Locations in small shopping centers and modest neighborhoods once packed during every holiday season are now just empty shelves. Deflated balloons and everything must go signs. The cause, it's not just the aftermath of the pandemic, it's because even joy has become something people have to reconsider. As living costs rise, people no longer spend $30 just to decorate a birthday party at home. With e-commerce taking over, customers buy party supplies on Amazon cheaper, delivered right to their door. And with inflation dragging on for a third year, many American families are forced to skip the small but meaningful celebrations. Party City didn't just sell decorations, they sold moments. Moments like the whole family blowing up balloons for the little one. Moments when friends gather one last time before a kid heads off to college. Moments when parents set up a Halloween party, even if it's just for 2 kids and the family dog. Now as Party City stores disappear, it's not just the end of a brand. It's a warning that joy, even the smallest kind, is slipping away from the lives of working-class families. And if even a small party becomes a luxury, what is left of America beyond bills, responsibilities? And silence. These retail chains didn't just sell products, they once sold a sense of security, comfort, and even pieces of familiar memories. But in an America changing too fast, is there anything left that's certain? If even the places that were always there are disappearing one by one, what do we ordinary consumers cling to in order to maintain our familiar way of life? This video is not meant to draw absolute conclusions, nor does it encourage nostalgia or pessimism. Everything in this content is based on real data reflecting current economic and social trends. We respect the United States Constitution, federal laws, and aim to inspire reflection, not division. If you have memories connected to any of the stores on this list, please share your story in the comments. Do you think America will change for the better? Or are we losing too many things we thought were permanent? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next videos, where we talk about the truths that mainstream media often ignore. We're here to speak the truth with you.